J-Drone here. This is a Tarantula 1505. What we're going to do here today, we're actually going to put a 500 mAh inside the body. Obviously the square boxy ones that would come on a striker don't fit, but we have one of these aftermarket ones that are a little bit thinner and fit very nicely in there. The only thing we're going to have to do is stick the wires out the bottom hole, as the length of it consumes where these wires would be. And there you can see you have it. And there it is outside. And with the battery inside, we're creating less drag than having a battery actually taped to the body and protruding out of the bottom. So we'll see what type of flight time we get. And that was a toss-up. You don't have to start these on the ground. Well, you have to bind these on the ground to make sure that gyro is steady. That way you're not drifting to the left or the right. But once you have it binded to the controller and the gyro stable, then you can just grab it and toss it in the air and take off. You don't need to start on the ground. Again, this is a Tarantula 1505. I'm J-Drone. Today is March 11th, 2016. We're at about 50 some odd degrees here with a 2-mile-an-hour wind that's very, very light. I'd even say we're almost at 0 to 1 mile an hour wind, but Weather Channel knows what they're talking about. And you can see this thing zooming right back towards me. This thing's fast. This is one of my favorite quadcopters to fly because of the speed and the agility. In your third setting, I don't know if you consider it your third speed setting, your third difficulty setting, this thing's amazing. You can just see the merry-go-round spin, tornado spin, yaw rate, whatever you want to call it, is ridiculous. I have a bunch of quadcopters. I have maybe one or two almost the same size as this, and the yaw rate doesn't even come close. I mean, whoever designed this had their mind in the right place if they were thinking about creating something to fly that was fun, because the fun factor on this is through the roof. And it does go high. It goes very high. I don't suggest when you're in that third setting, when you're up high, doing that yaw rate, because it's very easy to get disorientated. I have done it probably 2 or 3 times and lost it 2 or 3 times, and well, I've lost it twice, and I got it stuck in a tree once, and that affects us. I mean, with no added mods, it's probably going to be okay, free falling, dropping to the earth. But again, if you lose it, you have to go search for it, which fortunately, as you can see, I've been able to find it. But if you decide to mod this, put an 808 keychain cam on it, put a battery outside, like an 800 mAh battery on the outside of this, taped to the body, or as you've seen, I've done altitude tests with this, and it actually got away with me. All that's added weight. The manufacturer probably did not anticipate people stacking stuff on this and flying it, checking altitude, and trying to record from an external device that's not going to draw on the battery. So when you come down from an extreme height, what that's going to do, that's going to add added pressure that wasn't calculated from the manufacturer on this body, and there's a very good possibility that you're going to crack the body or chip something. I haven't actually completely broken something on this. I have cracked the body, I have chipped it, and if you do that, you can see this is flying. I'm having 0 issues flying. It's not hurt, it's not disabled. You want to get a good super glue. Get a good super glue, bond it back together, and then let it sit for a day or two. Don't rush right back out, because I guarantee you're going to break it again. Let it sit for a day or two in a position where gravity's actually holding it, or if you need to, get rubber bands or get ties to make sure it's steady in that one spot. That way it binds good. And then you're going to want to wrap some type of tape around it just to kind of give it extra support in case you did crash it. Obviously, with flying these things, the goal is to get good at flying them. You can see I'm getting pretty good at flying these. And on top of that goal, it's not to crash. Keeping this in complete control the entire time and not crashing it is on the top of my to-do list every time I go out. I don't want to crash these. I paid money for these. I don't want to break them. I don't want to, especially this close to homes, I don't want to drop it on somebody's roof. I don't want to hit somebody's car with it. I don't want to cause conflict with my neighbors with my hobby. So that requires me getting a little bit better at flying these. So basically, with that being said, obviously I bind down a flat surface, and then generally I toss flight, and then I run it till lights start blinking, let me know battery's going dead, and then I bring it back to me and try to catch it every time. If you can catch your quadcopter, you have zero worries about breaking it. It's in the safety of your hand. As long as you don't have mammoth hands and you squeeze and crush it, it should be good. Soft catch, bam, you got it, and you could go. And also on top of that, that spin is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Look at that. Also on top of not damaging the quadcopters is extended flight time. I mean, if you're going to get good at flying these just with anything, practice makes permanent. And I say practice makes permanent, not perfect, because if you practice poorly, you are going to perform poorly. If you practice well and safe, you're going to perform well and safe. So practice makes permanent. But with these, I'm trying to extend flight time. By flying over and over and over again, you're getting better as long as you're doing it safely and you're doing it responsibly. You're getting better at flying these. If you fly them recklessly over and over and over again, you're going to continue to perform at a reckless rate, and guarantee you're probably going to keep breaking them. But extending flight time will help you get a continuous run. Let's race this. Let's race the bike. Tarantula beat him. The Tarantula beat the bike. Tarantula 1, bike none. Tarantula's up. But the longer you can steadily fly one of these, the better you're going to be able to figure out your controls, especially when your controls are inverted. Right now, I'm flying with red in front, green in back. But if you go to turn that around, the red's going to be in the front, the red's actually going to be in the back, and the green's going to be in the front, and then your controls are inverted. You have to kind of get a feel for that if you're going to be spinning this thing around. Look at those flips and barrel rolls, very smooth. So extending flight time, not crashing, both on the top of to-do lists. And then next I would say is video recording. I enjoy capturing photos. This doesn't have a camera on it. I've hooked an 808 keychain cam to it, which they're very cheap, and there's that yaw rate. And it does have a camera port. I do anticipate getting a camera and placing it on this just to see how the flight time's affected. Because if you have a camera in the port, not an 808 keychain that's operating off its own battery, if you connect a camera to the port of the Tarantula 1505, it's added weight, and it's then going to draw off the battery. I'm very curious as to how much it's going to draw off the battery. Most of the cameras have at minimum 2 LEDs on it, a running LED that's constantly lit, and then a recording LED which generally will flash, or it will stay lit, but it's generally a different color. And right now, look at those flips. Very smooth. Look at that. Right now we're pushing 9 minutes. We're well over the minute to 2 minute average time with a quadcopter. 6 to 7 minutes is an average time. And myself, if I could get 10 minutes out of everything, if I could get even 15 minutes, if I could break that 15-minute barrier, which I've been close with this, I'd be very happy. Look at that, man. It's crazy. And this thing does go high. Goes high, goes fast, very responsive. If you're looking for a fun quadcopter, cheap, inexpensive, check this out, man. A lot of people have these. I've reviewed a lot of different quadcopters, and this is one of the more popular ones that I've reviewed, and it's one of the cheapest ones I've reviewed. In drones and quadcopters, cheap does not always mean, I guess I'd say, garbage, or the quality's garbage. The quality's not good. That's with quadcopters, that's not the case, especially if you buy direct from where they're being produced. People are afraid to buy from China. I took $100, I put it in the bank, and I said, look, I'm going to spend $100 on stuff from China. If I get burned, I get burned. I'll never buy it from them again. I've gotten every single thing I've ordered from China. Obviously, you want to use a site that looks good, because if it visually looks good and they're constantly updating things, they have some type of customer service. And PayPal. Do not use anything that does not accept PayPal. You use PayPal, you are covered. If you don't get your stuff, you open a dispute. You either get your stuff or you get your money back. Look at that. Right now we're at 10.5 minutes. This is good flight time. Now this battery was charged when I was at work, which was hours ago, 5-6 hours ago. I suggest you charge your batteries right before flight. Flight time will probably last a little bit longer. And of course, after they're done charging, you want to wait about 5 to 10 minutes, let the battery cool off if it has warmed. And our lights are blinking. We're at 11 minutes. We're going to bring this in for a catch. Come on. Bam. That's a good catch. I'm J-Drone. This is a 1505 Tarantula. Have a good day.